So after yesterday's episode of Hunter x Hunter, episode 131, a few friends and I, we were like, we can't wait anymore. We need to see what's going to happen next. And we gave in, we caved in, and read all of the rest of the manga of Hunter x Hunter. Roughly 32 chapters, I believe, 33 chapters, something like that. And I definitely don't regret it, I will say that. Like, the art isn't the most stupendous, but I was quite shocked that for the most part, there were only like maybe 2 to 3 chapters, I would say, where the art wasn't all that good. In particular, I remember I think it was 337 where it was just like, ugh. But aside from that, it was at the very least okay to like alright in certain areas. So I was glad that I ultimately caught up though, because the story was just great and I was just like, hell's fucking yeah, I could be caught up with the manga now. And it was just a great ride. So I'm going to be doing a review of the latest chapter that just came out. Tagashi back after a couple years. I don't know if I'm going to be reviewing this every single week because I have got quite a bit of stuff on my plate. But we'll see how it goes. And I'm just really excited to talk about something beyond Netero. Now, a lot of this chapter was definitely giving exposition as to just how excruciatingly bad and how fucked up the Dark Continent is. This was just really one of those tales, you know, the boogeyman, so to speak, about just how disgustingly bad the environment and everything the Dark Continent is. And definitely a chapter like this really reminded me of stuff like, you know, when they were hyping up New World and just, you know, how fucked up that place is, or Toriko, the gourmet world, you know, just that next level, so to speak, of what this world is going to be like, and, you know, the territory and just all the diseases and everything. And I think Tagashi been planning this for a while, so before anyone says, oh, he's just copying, this been around for a while. He had this idea. It's just that he went on this long-ass hiatus. So this chapter, with all the 5 calamities and everything, was like, god damn, like, Dark Continent is a scary fucking place. Now, I gotta talk about Beyond Netero. First of all, it seems as though with this week's chapter, it's been confirmed that Beyond is indeed Netero's son, because, you know, we were a little skeptical, like, he looks just like him, he acts just like him, but something's wrong, unless those tapes were, like, falsified. Maybe that really wasn't him. I mean, we've seen certain cases where Chimera ants can fake it, so who knows, maybe those really weren't left by Netero himself or something. Maybe Beans was tricked or some sort, I don't know, but definitely it was at the very least in this chapter with, you know, the videos from Netero confirmed that Beyond is indeed his son, but his son fucked up, didn't take his advice, shall I say, and went on an unexplored territory when they were, I guess, trying to make their way through the Dark Continent or get to the Dark Continent, and it cost people a lot of lives. It caused a lot of destruction. And I'm guessing that's why the V5 were after Beyond for the most part. And they were like, you need to hunt him down. Maybe they blame him for that, or maybe he's done more things than we've, you know, seen thus far. I don't trust Beyond. I mean, I think Beyond right now is looking like he's going to be a great villain, but I don't trust him at all. He looks very sinister in a way because of just like that overall look that he has. And while he tries to act like his father, at the end of the day, it almost feels kind of creepy the way that he's trying to act exactly like his father was, especially the fact that it was never even mentioned that this guy existed. I don't know if this was a secret that Netero wanted to keep because he was so embarrassed that, you know, my son is responsible for all this death and everything, but for him to pop up just all of a sudden when Netero's death is like if he's taking the opportunity, my father's dead, now I can, you know, raise chaos, so to speak. And I'm just like, if this guy is anywhere near as strong as his, you know, father was, and mind you, he's calling himself at the very least Beyond Netero. I don't know if that's his real name, if that was just a nickname that his father gave him or something, but if he's beyond Netero's strength, then my gosh, then we're gonna have a fucking problem here. And it's interesting because he knows that they were after him in this chapter. He's basically saying, I want you guys to call the B5 and tell them I'm already captured. You guys have captured Beyond Netero. So I don't know if he was saying that basically he wants to go on this journey and he doesn't want to be disturbed, so please just tell them that you caught him, and or he's confessing, or what it is he turning himself in for the crimes he's committed. Why are they even after him? Is it because of him not listening to Netero? Like, that's one of the big pieces that we need to find out. But this chapter was definitely very jam-packed with information, mainly just giving us some context to just how fucked up the Dark Continent is, and just overall the beginning with those 2 guys like talking. So that was definitely the focus of this chapter. And it's kind of interesting because while Netero knows just how disgustingly bad the Dark Continent is, he still has this idea in his mind that he does want people to continue to explore and try to get through there and whatnot. And the thing is, the way like he was like talking in the chapter is like he's not commanding people. He's not saying, you know, this is an order. But he really wants people to, and that's why he kept on saying it's not an order, you know, you do it if you want, pretty much giving them the option, because he really wants people, I think, to do it, but he doesn't want to doom people to the fate of doing that. So it's kind of like, I'll leave the option to you. This is an order, this is not an order, whatever. And I think he's just basically telling them, I really want this, but I'm not going to doom anybody's fate, and I'm not going to have no deaths on my conscience where, you know, I'm going to send people to the slaughter, because that's how fucked up the Dark Continent is. And I think that was just even further trying to show just if Netero was even scared to send people over there, we have a problem. And then seeing that one hunter that survived the Dark Continent, and he just looked like he was a brain-dead caveman fried the hell up. Kind of looked like Kitawa's butler Subone if she was like retarded and burnt the fuck up or something. Learning about those 5 calamities, the gas life forms, whereas pretty much, I don't know if it was just like monstrous gas forms. Then you got the thing that protects the ancient ruins, the spear-looking people thingies, and that's probably why a lot of people can't even get through there, because you got the thing that protects the ancient ruins right there, so you ain't even gonna get that far, because God knows what they could do to you. The human-feeding beast Papu, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of extended relatives maybe to the Chimera, because remember the Chimera, if I'm correct, they said that it came from the Dark Continent, so maybe the Papu are somewhat distant relatives that they feed off of humans. And then the 2 other ones, the 2-headed snake Hellbell, the Zobe disease. It's like, if you go over there, you're gonna be facing pretty much some of the worst things you could possibly face. Monsters that can kill you, gas-like forms, snakes, diseases. Is just like, you should not go to the Dark Continent is what this chapter screams. But I want to talk about something that happened before this chapter, because getting more beyond Netero in this chapter and just seeing what he's like and how he's desperate to get to this Dark Continent and whatnot. We know that Jean left the Zodiac, and I wouldn't be surprised if he left because he's probably going to hunt down Beyond. Maybe he knows about Beyond. Maybe he feels like Beyond is a threat. And maybe he's going to go after Beyond himself. But it looked as though, and I believe it was the last chapter or the chapter before that, where you see Beyond with all his people. Pariston, the dude that was, you know, going for the election, trying to win. Well, not trying to win, but, you know, within the election and that won and basically retired as chairman. It looked like he was maybe working with Beyond. What if Pariston is actually, you know, kind of like doing an undercover job, and him and Jean are both trying to take out Beyond? Maybe he's pretending to work with Beyond, but he's ultimately going to try to take him down as well. You can see that Beyond, I truly do not feel like Beyond is going to be like, you know, his father and a righteous person. He just looks like he's desperate to go to the Dark Continent. He's taking his followers. He doesn't care. And the way he was doing things in this chapter, like, you know, tell them that you caught me, you can see that it's leading up to the 2 big things is the Dark Continent. We're going to go there for sure. And Beyond Netero. Maybe we're going to fight Beyond Netero on the Dark Continent. And it's just going to be one hell of a rumble. I was disappointed, however, like, we didn't get no Gon. We got one picture of Jean, but that wasn't even really, like, that was just them referring to him and get to see, like, a really nice picture of him. We didn't get to see, like, nobody. I was just like, come on. And also, if they are going to go to the Dark Continent, because, you know, Gon and Kitawa said that they're not going to see each other for a while, are we not going to have Kitawa for this whole arc? Like, if they're going to take Kitawa out of the equation, like, you know, Togashi likes to take characters out of the equation, I would at least, like, if we're going to have Jean and Gon, maybe throw Kurapika in there. Maybe he's going in there for some reason because the troop went in there. He's trying to follow them or something, because last thing that we get a Kurapika, which it was only barely anything, he's there in that all-black suit, and, you know, he's still hateful as ever regarding the spider, so I really would like to see a switch up of the characters if Togashi indeed is going to cut Kitawa out of the equation, because he said basically, you know, I'm going to go do my own thing with my sister for now, so it might be a possibility that we won't see Kitawa for a really long time, and if that's the case, at least bring Kurapika back into the fold, and hell, throw Leorio on there. We need a doctor when there's diseases and everything. Very informative chapter, very dialogue heavy chapter. These are the chapters that, like, only 2 manga that I read weekly that actually do things like this is Hunter x Hunter and Magi, and I was just like, oh my god, the amount of information, this is overwhelming, and it kind of had me like thinking like, okay, what the fuck is going on here, what's going on here? But in a nutshell, it's like, don't fuck with the Dark Continent. Beyond Netero has some fucked up plans, and they're just weary of what to do. Netero is basically like, I want people to go, but I'm not forcing anyone because I'm not putting any bodies on me. And just seeing some of the, you know, elements of the Dark Continent, the 5 calamities. So definitely a good chapter. Not too much craziness. I really want to see what's up with Gon. I really want to see what's up with, you know, some of the main characters, because we really, the most interesting character in this chapter was Beyond Netero, which I really find him fucking interesting. I would love to do just like a whole discussion talking about the possibilities and his strength and his nen and everything, but we'll fucking find out in due time. So I'm gonna give this one 7 out of 10. Good chapter to come back to. A lot of information, a lot of dialogue, and you might get confused with it, but I had a pretty good time just seeing that it's back, and I didn't have to wait long at all. I had to wait like, what, 10 hours or something, so I'm not that mad about the wait, but I'd imagine people waiting 2 years. But let me know what you guys think. First of all, Beyond Netero, do you think he's gonna come out to be the main villain? Do you think Jean and Pariston are hunting him, or Pariston is actually gonna be completely working with him, and Jean versus Pariston and Beyond is gonna go down? And if Togashi is indeed gonna cut Kitawa out of the equation for a while, we're not gonna have him and his family in the story for a while, would you like Kurapika to be in place? Would you like Gon, Kurapika, Manga and Leorio, or do you just want to see Gong and Jean possibly, father and son, journey into the, you know, this new adventure? And just your overall thoughts of Hunter x Hunter manga being back. Again, I marathoned with a couple of friends. I had a blast doing it, and surprisingly, right now, the art in this particular chapter, for the most part, it was pretty good. It wasn't like incredible or anything, but it looked pretty solid. And like, I really hope Togashi can keep this consistency up of the art, because to be honest, he doesn't have the greatest art and everything, but for the most part, it isn't too bad as people make it out to be. I even felt like it was just really ridiculously bad until I actually read it, and I was like, there are some chapters where it looks bad, but a chapter like this, again, it was fine. It was like, you know, decent art. But that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, the Dark Continent ain't nothing to fuck with.